Okay, hello. I'm going to do a bit. This is a little bit of a follow-up video with a few more bits and pieces to do with this 319. Um, and I was talking about Fort Knox and the connection with gold, and this 319 connection. We went through the stuff with Prince and his album Gold, and did a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, but I've got a little bit more connections now, which connect not only to the idea of green, but to the idea of green and gold. And so, I don't know, we're just going to pick up from that previous video, touch on a few things that I missed, and also, yeah, just expand out on this a little bit now. So, note that this is an old dollar bill. As I said before, this was backed by gold, basically. Yeah, it's an old silver certificate. Back in the days where gold and silver was set at a certain price with a ratio, and this was uh, therefore this money here was backed by actual physical gold. Okay. Anyway, I showed you on that other video, and I've showed you in several other videos as well, that you can take this where this says 1 in the middle of here. Okay, but it looks a bit like 6 1 and a backwards 3. Okay, and of course you can flip that around and it'll make a 319. Okay, so we were looking at the date 319, and so we also looked at this connection back to the gold experience by Prince. Okay, which was, there was some interesting stuff with this that tied back to Fort Knox because of the um, like Pussy Control on here, this song, and the connection with Pussy Galore in Goldfinger. So we had this connection back, and in Goldfinger they essentially are going to destroy. Well, they don't really destroy the gold. Goldfinger's going to kind of destroy the gold at Fort Knox. He's going to make it worthless. Okay, and so we have this connection with Fort Knox, gold, Goldfinger, Pussy Control, Pussy Galore in the film. Um, and then we also have a song down here called 319. Okay, and of course we have a song called Gold as well. But I wanted to just, while we were on, so we're kind of backtracking here, just talking about this. But while we're on this, I just wanted to note one thing about Prince's symbol. You know, when he changed his name to just the symbol. If you notice this symbol, if you notice what's in the middle of this symbol here, it looks like a trumpet. It looks like a horn or a trumpet here. Okay, this little curly end, and then it's coming out to a horn shape here. So if you can see what I'm showing you here, you've got the kind of male and female symbolism thing, with the pointy arrow, and also the cross with the circle, yeah. But you've also got this like Trump reference here with the trumpet. Okay, so this is pretty interesting. I just thought it was interesting. I'd forgotten to mention that. And where do you stick it in a video? Yeah, okay. I could have done a video on by itself, but thought, well, I'll just stick it in the start of this one. But again, the trumpet, it forms it almost forms a T as well here. So it's pretty interesting with the reference back to Donald Trump, the trumpet, the final call or whatever. Anyway, uh, so I wanted to mention that. What else do I want to mention here? I wanted to actually go through some gematria. Okay, so the first bit that we'll come back onto the gematria in a minute, but let's just go to the bottom of here. Let's look at the word green and gold. Okay, because this is really what we're going to be connecting together. Notice that it's 4-9. Oh, it just annoys me. Notice the 4-9 and the 38. Okay, so just notice that, right? 4-9 and 38, because I'm going to show you something in a minute that's fairly interesting. Don't forget that our 4-9 is a potential date for the Hoover Dam coming up, and so we're going to tie this all together hopefully here in a minute. what else I got to show you here? Okay, so why am I getting all wound up? So basically that last video really talking about the connection with gold there, and I was watching Steve Fletcher, and he mentioned that the Zelensky means green. In Ukrainian, Zelensky means green. And what Steve also mentioned was that Al Green got kicked out of one of Donald Trump's speeches, whatever speech this was, I don't know. That was whatever. I think it was on the 4th of March. Anyway, so Al Green, Representative Al Green, gets kicked out. So he gets rid of green here, and then we also had, I think this was the Zelensky thing. I think was the 28th of February, and obviously they had the big row, and Zelensky got thrown out of the White House, maybe, or wherever they were. So you got 2 green kickouts, right? But the green references don't stop there, okay? So again, with the green reference, we've got this connection to Donald Trump Jr. that went and did the trip up to, and of course Donald Trump's been going on about this, but Donald Trump Jr. went up to Greenland to deliver a message from his dad. We're going to treat you well. Okay, so this connection to Greenland as well. So green again with the green land. Okay, and there's been talks, there's been stories, and this idea of like Greenland maybe becoming a territory or becoming a state, or having some other kind of deal with Greenland. But it's interesting. It's just been brought into the sort of the conversations that they're having, right? So all these connections together, well, we can actually go and look at some stuff for Greenland, okay? And well, I mean, there's not an awful lot to say about it, apart from, if you look at like there's Nuuk, I guess, the largest capital and largest city. We've got the Donald Trump numbers popping up already with the coordinates here. So 64 degrees, 10 minutes north. We've got Donald Trump numbers coming up. So again, it kind of, I don't know, there's just little bits and pieces in here that's interesting. Okay, founded, or there's a story about discovered by or founded by this Danish colony, founded by Eric the Red. And this whole idea of like, I don't know, the phallic, a nice reference back to the phallic symbolism. Yeah. Anyway, stop the waffle, Dan, because there's some interesting connections now with Greenland, and another version of a green and gold connection. So I want to show you another green and gold connection, which is, well, I've actually got them up without is the Green Bay Packers. Okay, the green and gold. Yeah, the green and gold. Okay, so we've got the Green Bay Packers, which is this is ties in with all this stuff. Okay, notice the establishment day 8/11, and if you recall in the chart of Lorraine, 118 cross references with 49. Okay, so this is already, we're getting a little tie back to the 49 date for the Hoover Dam coming up. And again, the green and gold. What was quite kind of interesting about this now with the green and gold was, I thought, I'll just pop it in Google and see what comes up with it, And I put green and gold in, and of course a film pops up, green and gold, and I had a quick skim through the well, starring. So Craig T. Nelson, okay, a 4/4 date, born in 44. So this is pretty interesting already, because if we know where 4/4 is in, let me show you another chart here. I've got it circled already. This is the Queen's Cross, and this is these numbers down the middle here. Okay, I've got them actually labeled down this side, you know, so like this sequence at the top here is Fibonacci, then it goes Lucas numbers, then it goes pi, then it goes Fibonacci again, and then we're back to pi, and then Lucas, Fibonacci, Fibonacci, Fibonacci. Ignore everything down the bottom here from the green down onwards. But, you know, this is just each cycle compiled in order, you know, so if you notice down the first column, we're starting with 1, and we're starting with 2, and then we're starting with 3. So everything's in a sequence here, okay? And you'll notice the middle of the table is 44. Remember, we had on New Year's Eve 440 days, 44 days after the 1014 eclipse. Yeah, that date of the 31st of December was synchronizing with the Hoover Dam being 32,600 days old. Okay, so it was kind of interesting with this connection back with 44 and this the 326 with the Hoover Dam. Okay, and we had the Key Bridge thing that also tied in with that. But if you'll notice on each side of this 44, when we're in here, yeah, is we've got 49, yeah, gold, okay, in our gematria, and then 83 or 38, which is green, okay. So this was interesting. I thought that was well interesting with the green and gold, okay, connection with this 44, and also notice here's our pi numbers in here. Obviously that's why this road's called pi. And also notice that the ear wound for Donald Trump, those numbers tie into that pi as well that's in here. Okay, there's several other numbers to tie in as well, but I wanted to show you that green and gold on each side of the 44 there. So that's pretty interesting. And also notice this, you know, the number 53 and 35. Yeah, Hoover Dam built in 35. But just notice that, yeah. Okay. If I pop back to this now, you know, this green and gold connection now with this guy with the 4/4 kind of looks really interesting, doesn't it? Well, you can pop through these other people. This guy isn't that interesting, but if we pop to the next guy here, Emmett Walsh, Michael Emmett Walsh. I don't think I've ever seen this guy in anything. I can't think of anything. Christmas with the Cranks. But anyway, what is interesting is, lo and behold, the March 19th came up with his death date and 88 years old. There you go. So that was, you know, again, the green and the gold. Obviously, they're referencing in this film the green and the gold of Green Bay. Okay. So Green Bay Packers. Well, what's interesting about the Green Bay Packers is they've been in the Super Bowl quite a few times. Okay. And again, that's kind of interesting. Chairman Mark Murphy. We've got the McMurphy we were just talking about. We've got the Murphy name coming back up again, and we've got obviously a name that connects to Murphy, a date that connects to Murphy coming up. We've got the 17th of, we've got St. Patrick's Day, okay, the 17th of March coming up. So another Green Day, yeah, and we'll look at Green Day the band here in just a second as well. I'm not going to do too much with them, but I do have an interest in number jump. So anyway, let's look at Super Bowl 1. Oh, look. Yeah, we've got the 135. Again, remember that 35-53 connection that was just in the chart with, you know, with the 35. And so we can flip this around and get the 153 fish, you know, and of course 135 is also, and 351 and 135 are both important numbers. Like 351 is the total for all three cycles, which is 117. Each cycle tots up to 117. Okay, so 117 is super duper important with all three cycles. Let me just whiz back to that. So all these cycles, if you add them up, are going to come up to 117, right? And three lots of 117, because there's only three different cycles: Fibonacci, Lucas, and Pi. And so you add those three cycles up, and it's going to be 351, should be, or something like that anyway, for the total for all three cycles. So 3 times 3 times 117 is going to be 351, should be. So again, that's, you know, super duper interesting as well, right? Obviously it's against Kansas City, and look at we got the 115 in here. That's kind of interesting as well. Was there I can't remember if there was a 115 in that film or not. Hang on a minute. Did they do? Oh no, they've got the 131 in here in the 95. What was a 115 connection apart from obviously Donald Trump's? I was thinking of another 115 connection as well, but I can't remember what it is apart from Donald Trump's election date. We'll go to Super Bowl 2. We're in Super Bowl 2. Okay. Look at the score here. We got the Pi coming up here, which is pretty interesting. Of course, we were just in that row, 3, 3, 1, 4, with a double 33 as well, which is kind of nice. And then Super Bowl 31. Okay, with the crown here. Again, 35 popping up again with Green Bay Packers. You know, 35, 53 numbers. You know, and we've got the 2-1 here as well. The 213 in here as well. Oh, that thing drives me nuts. Okay, and then we've got Super Bowl 45. Okay, that's interesting with Super Bowl 45. That's interesting with Donald Trump, obviously the 45th president. And again, we got the 31 showing up. Okay. And again, you know, we could go through these numbers here, but you know, there's no point. Okay, and we could go through dates and we could go through everything else with it, but I'm just pointing out this, you know, 5, 3, 3 1s, 3s, 5s, and 1s seem to be showing up with Green Bay. Yeah. So let me show you some. So what's interesting is now this connection with Donald Trump with Greenland, and the green and gold connection with Green Bay. If we now go to the gematria, we can just have a whiz through and look at some of these connections here. Okay. So let me go through them, right? So Greenland, okay, nothing really spectacular there with Greenland, okay. But as we come up, if we look at Greenland now spelt the Danish way, let me show you in here so that you can be clear of why that's missing an O there. Okay, so if you look at it in the Danish, it has this funny O with a line through it, which I believe from super careful deduction down here, which I can't find again now, but I'm pretty sure it was written with an O and an E, wherever it is. Anyway, I don't know, but anyway, I'm reckoning that might mean O and E. Okay, that little funny thing there. So what the Gematrinator does is it gets rid of that thing when you put it in here. It gets rid of that line through 0, okay, or O. So it gives us these numbers, right? 70, 34, 119, and 38, which was really interesting. So I'm going to get off track here a little bit because there was a connection with Greece, yeah, with the 119, 38, and well, actually it was with 119 and 34. If we go up to Greece, Greece was 34 and 119, which was kind of interesting. The only reason why I put that in there was because this date that's coming up for the Hoover Dam, which is 49. Obviously, Prince Philip died on that date, and obviously he's got the Greek connection. And obviously on the dollar bill we've got the Greek connection, and obviously the GREE for Greece and the GREE for green was just like I'll just put it in there and see, and then of course it pops up with this little connection here. Okay, so that's the Danish word for it, yeah. So obviously that funny O thing has been omitted. If we put the O and the E in now for Groenland, right, we've got the 45 showing up again and the 153. So we've got these connections with Green Bay with the Super Bowls, right? And then what was really interesting was I put the Green Bay Packers in, and this is this word here is the Greenlandic, I think they call the language. And so you take that and put it in the gematria, and it matches up right with Green Bay Packers. So this is what started the whole thing, really, was this match here, because that's a pretty good match with a very unusual word there as well. So I thought that was pretty special as well. Okay. So yeah, that's where we're going with everything that's on here. Okay. The connection to Greece, obviously, this is really the reason why I was looking at the connection to Greece, was because of this dude, Prince Philip, and his death date obviously would be on the same day as if the Hoover Dam went. It would be really interesting. Obviously, age 99. Obviously, it's the 99th day of the year. So this 99 connection is pretty interesting, And I mean, a couple other things with the 99 and the 49, just while we're on it, is when we come out to 49 here, 99th day of the year, 49. Okay, remember 94, the atomic number for plutonium. And then if we drop down to the other side of the year, which some people, I think I've mentioned this before though, maybe. We go to the other side of the year, the 23rd of September, yeah, 99 days left in the year. 239 is the atomic weight of weapons grade plutonium, yeah. So this is an interesting, just an interesting connection with plutonium. Just some interesting tie-ins there. I mean, I don't really done much digging on this. This is just sort of superficial stuff right now. But yeah, and of course, the 22nd through to the 23rd, this is Virgo turning into Libra, and obviously Virgo Virgin, and Libra is the cross, essentially, with two things dangling off of it. But it's essentially a representation of Christ. So you've got that going on there. What else did I want to mention? And then one other interesting thing about 9/4 as well is, of course, the shooting that happened. Obviously, this is the Hoover Dam's birthday here, September the 30th, and then the shooting on 101, the harvest shooting with Mr. Paddock. And obviously, if you're thinking of Stephen Paddock, you might be thinking of horse racing as well. Okay, because right before the main event, they take the horses in the paddock. Okay, so you have a little walk round so you can have a look at them. So obviously this connection with Kentucky and the Kentucky Derby, and the paddock, is just kind of interesting. This dude, Stephen Paddock, of course, as well, which I don't think I realised before, he's the born on 94 as well on the 9th of April, the year 53. So again, and of course he obviously died on the day of the event. But just again, it's just interesting, at the age of 64, and he had the tattoo on the neck. What did he have? The 13. Was that what he had on the neck? I can't remember now. But again, I'm going to show you a few interesting number jumps that's going to tie us back with the 5313s and all that stuff here in a minute. But I thought I'd just mention that there's some other stuff you can dig into his family, his mother and father, so you can find there's some other interesting stuff with him. I don't really want to spend a whole bunch of time on that right now. So we kind of did the Super Bowls. We've done the connection. There's this little connection with Greece and green. And let me show you some number jumps now. But before I do the number jumps, let me just show you Green Day. Will 319 be a Green Day? Their album Warning. If we look at the release date here, 3rd of October 2000, right? And look at this length here as well with the 4114 here. But let's look at this date and do a number jump through. I'm trying to think which one it was. This one right here. So we've got it in here. Okay, 310 2000 through to 319 potential Green Day, and it's this number here, 8933. Let's click it. And I just thought that was nuts. We've got the quadruple one, the 1111. Okay, so the 4 towers that we have at the Hoover Dam, and also just pretty special, isn't it? Yeah, the 1111. Okay, I'm just thinking Hoover Dam with that, that's the main thing. But that is so interesting, isn't it? And if you put that number in, of course, you're going to get a whole bunch more 111 stuff. But yeah, I don't know. Kind of interesting with the warning, a connection to a warning with the Hoover Dam, maybe with the 1111, 4 inlet towers at the Hoover Dam. So that was just interesting with that prime number. Okay, and obviously if you go to 1111 in the year, it's the 350th day of the year as well. So that is, again, tying back in with all this bloody 153 stuff right now. Let me show you a couple other number jumps and we'll just call it quits on this one. Donald Trump's birthday through to 49. Okay, nothing on the surface that looks super interesting to me, at least. But if you click that number, this is what becomes interesting with this 3135 and the green and gold connections with Greenland tying in with Green Bay and with the Packers. So this is really interesting. You can click it again, and it's not so interesting. This is not one I wanted to double click. Okay, so anyway, yeah, that prime number, I just thought that was interesting. Again, remember the Hoover Dam was, one of those birthdays is 1935. Okay, what have we got here? We've actually got the Hoover Dam birthday 1935 through to 49. Okay, and again, this is the 99 that's about to run out. We're about to go, if we go one more day, we're into 327, or if you read that number backwards, 723, and you've got all kinds of people that are born on 723. The one that pops to mind is Harry Potter, whatever his name is. I can't think of his name now. Well, anyway, whatever his name is. So you got Harry Potter on that date, and obviously room 237 you can get out of that date as well. So again, yeah, this is the last day, and of course 326 Okay, I don't know if I mentioned this last time, but when you go to 326999, yeah, which this day is pairing with 923, and then you click on, okay, you've got, if you read this backwards, 723, yeah, so July the 23rd, or if you change the July now to September, because of 7 is Sep. Okay, so this is this weird little tie-in. I mean, I know it's reaching a bit, but so this is a little weird tie-in to the 23rd of September again with 723. Okay, I thought I wanted to mention that. Was there something interesting I had to click on this? No, that wasn't the one that I've got. I might have got rid of it. I had an interest in something else that was interesting. I can't remember. Okay, that was the Green Day. That was that. That was the Donald Trump one. What have I got here? This is the first Super Bowl, Super Bowl number 1, that Green Bay won. Okay, well actually I think they won all their Super Bowls. So, but this is Super Bowl 1. And again, is there anything interesting about that number? Not really on the surface, but when we click it, we've got the 2389. Right? Semi-interesting, isn't it? And then if we click it again, we've got 355, which again is pretty interesting. Obviously 355 shows up in, let me show you the other chart here. Okay, so 355 is actually a total down here. Of course we had that stuff with Madonna with 222 with her video length that didn't change, and it should have changed. It should have either been set on 223 or it should have changed down to 221, but it didn't. If you watch that video of mine with her, and actually I've got something with her in just a second, but again, 910 references, obviously Guy Ritchie, isn't Chris Columbus, the film dude, a 910 as well. And yeah, we got the 3-5 reference again, the 53-35 reference again. Okay, yeah. So this is again really interesting with Green Bay and the 35-53 stuff coming up, right? Okay, I didn't know where to put this in a video, so my thoughts were I'll just whack it in this video. This is this date for Madonna coming up, the 14th, the Blood Moon Day. Again, I don't think I showed this in the video, but if you click this, I think I showed this because this connects back to the dartboard, this 2701, the 2701st prime. Okay, so that connects back to the dartboard, but I don't think I double clicked it and showed you this. So it's the 73rd triangular number, and obviously 2701, look, 37 times 73. So this is really interesting with 37, 73. And again, you can click that one more time, and then we're down to the 21st prime. 73 is the 21st prime, and look at this, the 73rd composite number is 99. Fourth star number, I don't know what that means, but interesting, isn't it? So, and yeah, there's some other interesting stuff here. The binary is really interesting as well. 1001,001 palindromic number. So when you go, you keep reducing down, it becomes, there's some interesting stuff that all ties together there. Obviously, we've got 317 in here coming up as well with St. Patrick's Day, 24 as well. You've got a lot of connections with the number 24. What else to say really? But I just thought I'd better put that in a video somewhere. And yeah, especially with the ear wound as well. But I think I might have mentioned that as well. What else was there? That was it, I think. The Greenland connection. Obviously they got the bear on here, and again, I think in one of my early videos talking about this thing, where this is the owl here, I said, well, that could, the only other thing I could think that it could be is a bear as well. It kind of has a kind of a teddy bearish look with the ears here. You could make this the ears and then the eyes that are kind of covered up. You could almost have like a bear symbolism underneath there as well, which is, I don't know. Yeah, so I think that's it really. But there's some really interesting tie-ins with all these Super Bowls. One, win. Two, win. Okay. 31, win. 35, yeah, with the crown. Okay. And 45, win. Yeah, with 31 again. So kind of interesting stuff. What does it all mean? I don't know. It does kind of tie in though with Donald Trump quite nicely. It does kind of tie this whole thing with Greenland, Green Bay, the Green Bay Packers, the green and gold. The green and gold, and the 49 and 38. So, I don't know. I think they're doing some kind of elections right now there. I need to pick up the news on it and see what's going on, but maybe there'll be something more to this Greenland story. I don't know. Come the 19th. Who knows? Anyway, super interesting synchronicities here in the Gematria with a few of these numbers. I'm going to leave it. That's the end of that. I don't think I've missed anything out of there. Way too long of a video probably. But anyway, thanks for watching, and the green and gold, we'll see, won't we, if there's anything happens to do with this green and gold and Fort Knox and Greenland. Okay, thanks for watching. Alright, cheers. Right, bye.